suppose it all started last year for me, really. I moved up to Dundalk when I was going to college here, and I just kind of started feeling bad about myself and just thinking, like, you know, on paper I have a job, I'm in college, I live away from my parents, things look relatively good, and even my friends, like, you know, if I was out with the boys, or they'd be saying, "Oh, lucky you, Ben, you get to go home now to your own house," or whatever, and even still in my head I was thinking, no, like, I'd like to be going home with you, or I'd like to be doing what he's doing, and I was just going, like, why do I feel like, and then I was thinking, like, no, you're only being a drama queen, like, stop, you know, you're grand. And this went on for months then, and then it just kept building up, and I didn't really say anything, and then the thoughts started to creep into my head of, you know, am I depressed, or am I anxious, or what's this? And then it was just, no, don't be ridiculous. And then as it goes, then it just built, and then eventually I was just, one day it was just really bad, and I just decided, I was just like, actually, yeah, this is bad, I need to go and see someone about this, and then just got in contact with a counsellor, and it made a world of difference, like, just by sitting down with someone, having a chat.
And did you experience this in secondary school at all, or was this something new?
Not so much the depression, but I was always anxious. I used to, when I was in secondary school, I mollycoddled my little brother a lot, just because I had this strange irrational fear that he was always going to run away, or the weirdest thing ever, and it's only kind of in the last year I've looked back and gone, is it connected or is it not? Or
well, the funny thing with anxiety as well is people often, you know, there's certain people have certain perceptions of depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
Some people might say anxiety is, you know, it's a little selfless. You're constantly worried about yourself, but most people that I have spoken to who have experienced anxiety and panic disorders spend most of their time worrying about other people.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing. That's called empathy, and that's really, really important to have.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in this world don't have any empathy. And with anxiety, the problem is people often don't know how to cope with that amount of care or love they have for other people.
Yeah.
Whether it's their family, whether it's their friends, and sometimes you always worry, maybe, Jesus, what if I come home, my parents aren't here, all this. That's literally, I used to be like that, but then you actually say, that's in a complete, almost cliche, that's anxiety. You will pick the worst case scenario in your brain, and as irrational and as zero logic applies to it, you will talk yourself into it.
Yeah.
That's how it operates. And it can be militant, it can absolutely, it won't stop until you believe that.
Yeah.
And with depression, I found I don't know if you read Bruce Springsteen's book, who speaks amazingly about depression.
Right.
He said the same thing. He says often with depression, people see it as quite a selfish thing where you go in yourself, you ignore others, you don't leave your house, you don't leave your room. The reason a lot of people who struggle with depression, and especially when they know there's people far worse off than they are in the world, what happens is you don't want to expose others to that. You don't want others to deal with that too. You don't want others to have to, who might be having a great day and you come in, you just have that energy and you can't, no matter how hard you try, you can't lift it off your shoulders. So I often feel mental health is very misunderstood by people. They think mental health issues are a person just going in on themselves. Actually, the person dealing with mental health is often trying to protect others around them, not having to cope with that, especially when they don't know what it is. And the language. But this thing, something you said that really kind of resonates with everybody. People often say mental health issues are deeply complex, and they are. The background issues are complex, but really when you talk to anybody on this planet who's experienced anxiety, depression, any other areas from OCD to eating disorders, they'll all tell you the common denominators of how it makes you feel, and it's the same with everybody. It's that feeling of that dread, that fear, that constant and utter doomsday
to relax
feeling, and people will look at you and that's ridiculous. I know it's ridiculous, but you telling me it's ridiculous doesn't make it any easier. It doesn't matter what your gender is, what your background is, your demographic, your ethnic race. It doesn't matter. Nobody's immune to it.